Hey, welcome back to Earthcat Mushrooms. You see, I got some grain going here. It's heating up right now. I just started it. I'm not gonna bore you with watching water boil, but this video is about getting the correct saturation in the grain. And this is the first start. So what I did here is this grain sat overnight. So it's been here for 24 hours, and now we're gonna boil it. Once the water gets to boiling, I'm gonna let it go for 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all you need, and then we're gonna put it on our new screen that we just got, and that's what this video. One big part I wanted to show you on this video is the screen that I got for this. So I'm gonna cut to that. Once this is done boiling, we'll show you the screen, and we'll put that on top. So I'll be back in just a bit. All right, I wanted to show you this screen. This is, so I was actually going to build this screen originally, which is simple to do. You just need, a few pieces of wood and then the screen mesh just like this. But I got to thinking about it, and I remembered one of my places, my first house that I had, it had some window screens, just like this one. So I went and checked and see if that's still a thing. They still exist. So I picked one up. And I can show you a little more of this thing. So it's really cool. It actually, so you got double sync here, the normal screen here, but the good thing is it opens to double the size. So you can open it quite a bit. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to cover both sides of the sink. We don't need, with the grain I have today, I actually don't need both sides. I'm probably only going to need one. But every time I do it, I actually pull it all the way open anyway. And the reason why is because the water, instead of going through two, it just has to go through one. So it just makes it a little better draining time. And yeah, so if so most of the time, almost all the time I put it like this. Sometimes I'll even put it like this. You can do whatever, if you need to use the other side of the sink. That's what's cool about it. You also can do it like this. I've done that before too, but like I said, it seems to, when the weight of the grain is on here, the water seems to get kind of trapped between the two layers, and it doesn't just doesn't drain as well. So I open it up all the way, keep a little bar in the middle. So I'll show you how this works in just a second. The grain's just about done boiling, and what I'll do is I'll come back and show you how to spread this out on here, and continue the next step. All right, so it's been 5 minutes, and I have so I'm gonna pull those off in just a second here. I wanted to show you what I'm gonna do is actually, I have the screen halfway here. What I'm gonna do is pour the water off, and the reason we wanna do that is pretty obvious, just lets it dry a lot quicker. So let me grab those and show you what we're doing here. So I have this cool little pot attachment thing, and what I'm gonna do is drain all the water off outside of the screen. If you do it on the screen, what'll happen is the screen will actually hold on to some of that water, and you'll get, it's not that big of a deal, but it'll just take the drying time just quite a bit longer. So draining all the water off first will cut down that time. So we got a lot of grain here. I'm gonna open the screen up all the way, and we're gonna dump it all on here. So I'm gonna use both sides. Got a lot of grain, like I said. Now the interesting thing, so this grain has been sitting for 24 hours, and it actually was, once you have it soaking that long, it's mostly ready to go. The reason that we actually boil it is for a couple things. You let it soak for one first, in case they have any spores in there. The soaking it will get those spores to open up, and then you boil and it'll kill those spores off. The second reason though is for the steam. So when you're as we spread this out, you can see all the steam that's coming off of it. The steam's actually gonna pull all the moisture out really quickly. So the steam's really important for that part. If you happen to not boil and you just put wet grain on a screen like this, it would take forever. It would take all day to dry out. So the steam, and I'll show you when we come back. I'm gonna let this sit for usually about 10 to 15 minutes. All the steam will be done, and it'll be pretty dry after that. You can see the color now. Take note of the color now, how kind of dark it is and everything else. And then when we come back, you'll see the color is actually quite a bit lighter, and the outside of the grain will be almost completely, it'll be a lot less brown. So that should be good as far as spreading out. So we're gonna be back. I'm gonna let this sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Like I said, take note of the color now, because the next thing you'll see is we're gonna pop back on in about, after it's all done, and you should be able to see the color difference on the screen, hopefully. So I'll be back in just a bit. All right, it's been about 15 minutes, and you can see this very different coloring over here. And on this side, you can see this is where I originally poured. So they still had a little bit of water in the pot. This is a lot of grain, so kind of expected. But you can see the big difference between this dark spot and then the outside area. All the outside area is perfect. All this over here is perfect. They got a little spot right here for some reason, but anyway, all that's perfect. And then this is still pretty wet right here. That's why I try and get all the water out first. Like I said, that pot was pretty full, and it was kind of hard to get it all out. But what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna mix all this in all together. This wet grain will redistribute through everything, and I'm gonna let it sit for another 10 to 15 minutes after that, and then we may be good. We'll evaluate again after letting it sit. All the grain on the other side is ready to go really right now. You can I can actually put it all in there, but what I'm gonna do again, since all this is dry, I'm just gonna bring it over here and kind of mix it all in, and then we'll spread it all back over through everything. That way I can just get that little bit of wet grain surface area kind of onto everything, and it'll dry a lot quicker. So what drying time is going to vary a little bit depending on kind of where you live, and how much humidity you have in the air, what time of year it is, and all that. I'm in all the way south in New Orleans, and it's really humid here. But after cooking the grain like this and letting it sit just for that steam time, and then mixing it up with that little bit of wetness that we had, I'm gonna let this sit for another 10 to 15 minutes, and then it's gonna be ready to go for sure. And then what we'll do is I'm gonna put some of this into bags, and then probably some of it into one small bag, and then the rest, whatever's left over, I'll put into jars, and then we'll inoculate that and colonize and everything else. So I'm not gonna continue the video after this. You don't need to see putting grain into a jar and bags and stuff like that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it into those containers. The bag, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna load everything up into the pressure cooker, and we're gonna let it go on high for 3 hours. And the reason for 3 hours, you can do a little bit less time if you need to, but generally speaking, if you're doing it in jars, 2 hours is probably good. In bags, you want to go a little bit longer, just to make sure everything's sterilized. And a little bit more time is not going to hurt anything. So may as well do it if you have the time. But that's it for this video. So what I'm gonna do, I'll link the description for where you can pick up one of these window things from. You can also build your own. Again, it's super easy. You just need 4 pieces of wood, and then you can get the screen, and then you'll just staple the screen to it. The downsides of that is it's not collapsible like this one is. This one's really cool because you can collapse it, and a little bit better storage. The good side to those, though, as opposed to this one, is if you had a ton more things, if you had some more stuff that you wanted to, say you had like a ton of mushrooms, you didn't want to dehydrate them, you wanted to air dry them, you can actually you can do it on this screen, but if you built your own and you had a ton of mushrooms you wanted to dry out, you can actually stack one on top of the other. With this one, you wouldn't be able to do that. But I don't really have that need, so this is pretty perfect for me. So anyway, if you got something out of this video, definitely give us a like. Subscribe to us. We've got some more content coming out. We also sell all of our liquid cultures online, and we'll soon enough have sterilized grain as well on there. But yeah, check us out, earthcapmushrooms.com, and then we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.